And you know one thing I do like about him? He'll put his head where other people won't even put their boot.
Yeah. We want people that are going to be competing for that first team spot, exactly. not another Shaqiri.
The way that this brother plays football, when we were linked, I didn't want to comment because I didn't want to smile.
Evening, everybody. Welcome to FTB Sports. This is KOP TALK. This is the Leeds versus Liverpool after-match reaction. First of all, I'm just going to say I was absolutely heartbroken. Harvey Elliot. Do you know, I just saw his leg hang and spin from his like shin bone, and I was like, fucking hell. And then you saw Salah like crying, and
I think as soon as I saw him go down and you heard Gary Neville go, say what he say, you knew immediately that this was a severe injury. Now you got to go straight to the pros and cons. Cons is he's out for a year minimum. It's a leg break and it's an ankle break, and you can obviously chuck in some ligament damage there too. Things to be reasonable for. Well, it might be a clean break. We hope it's a clean break. If it's a clean break, he'll be back within a year, no doubt. And also, as we were discussing off air, that Jurgen Klopp seems to be the sort of guy that doesn't forget things, that will give him an opportunity. Because let's be brutally honest, he was looking good, and he played another great game today. There's so much more I could say about it, but obviously certain situations dictate what I can and can't say. So I'm just going to talk about the football and the seriousness of the injury. I think, and I hope he comes back stronger. It's going to go one or two ways. He will either never, ever be the same again, or
especially with the double break.
Stronger. Yes, absolutely. Double break.
Like and it's the ligament damage too. Yeah. I mean, it just, as soon as it happened, I just thought, this is like fucking Virgil all over again. But this is even worse because it's an 18-year-old boy that's just been out on a loan for the whole season to prove to Klopp that he deserves a first team spot. And he did that. He worked so hard to get into this team and to earn that spot. It's a fucking hard team to get a first place start in. And he did that. And the first 3 games and the first half of this game, he was outstanding. Man of the match nearly every game.
It's extremely upsetting, but let's have a look at some of the best players in the history of the game that have had similar injuries. So the original Ronaldo, okay, he had obviously the ACL and the kneecap issues. Was he ever the same again? Probably not. You had Luke Shaw. He's come back and improved. Luke Shaw had a similar injury, but I don't think it may have been an ankle as well. Man United fans will be able to tell us for sure. Away at PSV, he had a terrible, terrible injury like that. There's been a few. Gomez for Everton, he's come back, but again, not quite the same. And that's what, for me personally, I'm very, very fearful that he might not be the same. However, he's very young. His body, he's still obviously not finished growing. He still hasn't stopped developing, and that may aid a recovery.
That's probably the double-edged thing. It's really sad because he's so young, but because he is so young, hopefully it doesn't affect him as much as it would if he was older. Do you know what, though? Like you said, I'm just going to talk about today. I think Klopp was really criticised by a lot of people for that midfield today, especially the combination of Thiago and Elliot. And I would just like to say they were fantastic.
Yeah.
Those two in that midfield today were absolutely brilliant. And I think every game he has a few doubts over him, and he just comes out, doesn't faze him at all. And he was brilliant today. I'm really impressed with.
I mean, Gems, I'm looking at the score in the corner and I'm thinking, hold on a minute, have I just been in a nightmare? Because it says Leeds 3, Liverpool 0. I'm quite happy at the moment. Obviously, take Harvey Elliot aside. I'm extremely happy. I'm very, very happy. Everybody in the world, in the football community, seems to believe that Liverpool have got no chance of winning the league this season. All they say is they'll be there or thereabouts. Well, do you know what? I'm quite happy to be there or thereabouts. And, I think we've got a wonderful start to the season. Very, very happy. And we haven't had to spend £1 zillion to go and get it either.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, sad thing now is, you know, Elliot was kind of a fill-in, a new signing, you know. We kept saying, you know, he'd been out on loan, he's come back, new signing. But yeah,
I thought we dominated
January.
Leeds. I thought we dominated them. I thought they were
Oh,
more.
God.
They were awful. I thought they were paper thin. I thought we went through them like a hot knife through butter. It was very seamless. We should. If I'm being hypercritical,
we weren't at our best.
We should have beat them 7 or 8-0. And I'm serious. That's a Leeds at a packed Elland Rd.
We were not on fire when it came to that final bit. We were lacking precision.
Sadio Mane today,
decision.
I would have scored 4 of them.
So Sadio, what is going on with Sadio?
I think
what is going on with him? Where is that killer instinct gone? I know he got a goal today, but I think he had 10 attempts and he got 1.
Yeah.
Sadio last season or the season before that would have scored every single one of them. What is going on with him? Is it a confidence thing? Is he just?
I think it's a confidence thing. But then again, can you really be honest and say it's a confidence thing? Because this has been the same now with Sadio Mane for about 2 years. 18 months minimum. He hasn't been himself. It's a double-edged sword. I think we give him, again, it's another one. This is a very big season for Liverpool Football Club. This is a season where we start to think about the future, and you know, a part of that future has just been taken out for a season. So it is Liverpool. It's the drama story, the EastEnders football romantic story of Liverpool Football Club. Everybody hates us. Everybody talks about us. And then it will always be that way. Look, I think, you know, let's look at the start of the season. Man United, obviously, you know, spent big and they're getting their rewards for that. But then again, level on goal difference with us. I mean, you've got Chelsea, again, spent £80 billion, and again they're level with us. You know, the only blemish is for Liverpool, and I could say about ifs and buts and maybes. If we would have found a goal at Anfield, what a start to the season. We're undefeated in now 14 games in the Premier League, which no one seems to mention. So
you know,
that
end last season we were on point.
Absolutely. I think, you know, the question is, what's Mane for me? Given to the end of this season, and then I would be strongly considering, you know, we spoke about this at length, didn't we, with Potsy and with everybody on about next seasson transfer window.
And it's not to put him down, and it's not hating on him. It's just, you know, we have a standard that needs to be maintained. And for some reason, he's not maintaining that standard right now. And we cannot be having these situations versus AC Milan.
It's the finishing gems. You can take people on. He looks great. You know, everything's perfect in the build-up. But then when, you know, Salah pings through a wonderful pinpoint pass, he takes his touch and takes him, you know, further nearer to the corner flag. And, you know, you go back 18 months, we'd have took that first time bottom corner. And it's just maybe a confidence thing.
Just not there at the moment. I don't understand. I'm just going to go through a couple of comments because they're building up. I think we got a lot of love today. This is Adam. Hi, Adam. Hope Elliot's all good. Big up, guys. So we did actually post a picture, didn't he? Bless him. Do you know what I love about him? As he was getting stretchered off, the Leeds fans were clapping him. Like, some of them were decent. And he was clapping them as he was going off. Like, what a lovely, lovely young man. Evening, Reese, our loyal supporter. Great game, but absolutely heartbroken about Harvey Elliot. I was a wreck. So sad. Evening Amundi from Manu Agenda. Such a shame about Elliot. Squad will be truly tested now. Curtis Jones, anybody? I think more of the question is Naby Keita. Now is his time to stand up and be counted.
If he breaks down again, I'd sack him off. Yeah, if he breaks down again. But Amondi's right. It is going to be a massive test of this playing squad now. If, you know, for me, would I be prepared to sacrifice one of the cup competitions to keep going in the league and Champions League? Absolutely. You know, give it to someone, give it to small clubs like Leicester and Tottenham and clubs like that.
Well, Man City always get the League Cup now, don't they? That's their specialty.
Yeah.
Let them carry on because they got free starting teams, so they can do that. Curtis Jones. The last pre-season we had, he was injured, wasn't he? I think that's why we haven't really seen him in the Premier League this season. I don't think many people know that. But I've got a lot of faith in him still. Just because Elliot came along, he kind of took all the attention away. But I still believe in Curtis as well, and I think he still has a position in our squad. And looking to the future, you know, him and Elliot, there's a lot of them that are the future of the club, and it is his time as well that he can get in now. But yeah, Reece, I reckon Harvey will be back. He's young. Yeah, he'll be back. He's fought his way into a Champions League, Premier League winning top team at the age of 18. You know, he'll be back. He'll be back. Monday, hi Double J, Gems and James. We should just start a new show ourselves, shouldn't we?
It would be a good one. Yeah, and in terms of Amondi, a lot of respect for him. You know, he's probably one of the only Manchester United fans I like and take points from.
He is a great guy. He's going to get a big head now, but he is a great guy, and he's just a football fan, you know, ultimately above anything else. And, you know, that's what it's about, isn't it? It's just the football. Nicholas, this is our KOP TALK guy. Everything, evening, guys. Gutted about the loss of our boy for the season. I know. Amundi, I doubted the midfield three. Thought Thiago and Elliot would get overrun. I think a lot of people did. But they just loved it. They seem to enjoy it. I'm going to put a little spotlight in a minute on Matip as well, because
I could watch him. Do you remember Player Cam on Sky Sports back in the day? They had Player Cam. I would love a Joel Matip Player Cam. It would just be priceless gold. You know, I'm really struggling tonight. I'm really struggling to try and be my enigmatic best, because I feel like I've taken a donkey kick to the back of my testicles. I cannot really. I'm so withdrawn and hurt at the moment. It's but we have to remain mature about the situation. 6 weeks ago, would we be having this conversation? No, we'd probably be in the reserve somewhere. So, you know, let's just get some balance. But I think it's a kicker.
It is. I know. Evening, Mr. K. Hi. Nicholas, can't wait for match of the day tonight. I don't even. I feel like there's a shroud. Do you know what I mean? I know we need to kick it off, but I was just so excited about this kid. Like he was just so exciting. But yeah, 3 points. Oh yes, and Amundi, Salah is a real Premier League legend. Take a bow. Very affected. This guy came along, Chelsea reject, 35 mil was it? Mm-hmm. One season wonder. I remember he got all those goals and they were like, it's just a fluke, This guy, he's just on some legendary status. So he's in the top 5 now, isn't he? Let's just have a look at these stats right here, because it's so impressive.
The only question that we've got to talk about at some point, maybe not on this particular episode of the show, is the subject that no Liverpool fan does want to talk about, and that's the alleged £500,000 a week, and we've got a serious decision to make. If we pay him it then opens the floodgates. If we don't pay him it,
do we believe it?
We've got an issue. I do.
I don't
I think his agent is indifferent. I think he deserves a pay rise, and I think he should be on. Him and Van Dijk and Alisson should be the ones on the most money at the football club. But I don't know how much he's on now. But maybe after I do a bit more research and get some actual substantial evidence to back up that claim, then you know, it's just alleged at the moment. But 500 grand a week, there's something, a seed has potentially been planted. You know.
Yeah. Maybe it was all this talk of bringing in new players and them looking at what wages they were on and saying, okay, so if I get more money, you can bring people in, and I don't want somebody coming in and then having more than me. My first instant reaction to this stuff is always, I don't pay attention. You know, because of the streams and stuff, I was like talking about transfers. Usually in my personal world, I don't follow any transfer sites. I don't listen to any. If it comes, it comes. It is what it is. And I'm the same with tabloids and news stories and stuff. I don't believe absolute bullshit. I don't believe any of it. But let's just say fastest players to 100 Premier League goals. Number 1 is Alan Shearer. 2, Harry Kane. 3, Sergio Aguero. 4, Thierry Henry. And number 5 is the Egyptian king. And actually,
do you know what makes him special?
2 more games than Henry.
And do you know what makes him special? All those people you've reeled off there are strikers, bona fide number 9s. Mohamed Salah's a right winger.
That's what I'm saying.
When is this guy going to get the respect that he deserves as a right winger? scoring that
don't
amount of goals in
understand.
that amount of times. I think it's
Yeah.
absolutely scandalous, in my opinion. If Jadon Sancho goes on to post those numbers over the next 5 years,
Oh
you know,
God.
would he have the acclaim? Absolutely, because he plays for Manchester United. The fact that Mo Salah, it's only diehard, you know, fans of the game that actually understand and respect just how good this guy is, even as a man first, and then secondly as a footballer. I think he's on the world stage. They talk about Neymar being the third best player in the world and has been for 3 or 4 years. Again, comments will say that it's refuted, whatever. The reality is, after Messi and Ronaldo, in no particular order, them two, they then say it's Neymar. Well, actually, I believe Mo Salah over the past 3 or 4 years has outdone Neymar, no doubt.
And statistically as well, it's been proven.
I think Mbappe and Haaland are better than Neymar as well, but that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I mean, he's, like you said, he's always compared to strikers. Nobody really comments on the fact that he's a winger. And look, a lot of people he's compared to, you look at the list, they're retired. You know, these are people that have passed. And it's the same with Virgil. He's always compared to, you know, Ferdinand and all these other players that have retired. And it's like you have to compare them to retired players to find someone to compare them with. And that just shows that they are
I don't think it's any shadow of a doubt that Liverpool have conceded, what, 1 goal this season? Is that right? Against Chelsea? You know, Van Dijk's back. Kanate's been warming the bench. Typical, isn't it? When Van Dijk's out, it all falls apart. When he's back, it gets stuck together. Do you know what? I'm very, very calmly.
And let's just say the Chelsea goal was a set piece as well.
Brilliant header by Kai Havertz. Wonderful header.
Yeah, you couldn't fault Virg for that. But honestly, thank you for a Monday. This is why we love you, because you appreciate class, and he is pure class. And
as a Man United fan, you know, talking about a Liverpool player like that, yeah, big respect.
Yeah. Next comment we've got, Mr. K. Is Mane finished? He seems out of it. Well, as Liverpool fans, we're getting a little bit at the end of our tether.
It's finishing. It's his finishing and decision making in the final third. Everything else is fine. The way he wins the ball, shields the ball, physical elements, he's dribbling past players, looking great. It's just when he goes to take the cash out the cash machine, it slips out his fingers and it's slipping all over the floor.
I love that.
You know,
I love that. It's like when you cooked a nice big dinner and it's all in the pot, and then you're going to put it on the plate and it flops down before you get it in the bowl.
And Mo Salah walks behind him with a slice of pizza. That's a KOP TALK analogy. For those that know, if you know,
picking it up. Ah, yes, we love a bit of pizza, don't we?
Absolutely.
And Manny keeps dropping his pepperoni at the moment.
Absolutely.
And Wendy, one-on-one, Manny is a killer. I feel he's getting doubled up on, still effective and still a real threat.
Yeah, it's the finishing.
But he's still lacking that little bit of used to cut in on people.
If he's getting doubled up on, that's fine, because that creates spaces for other players to take full advantage of. The fact of the matter also remains, though, is Salah's been getting doubled up on for the last 3 years, and he's still posting the numbers. So it's a tricky one. It is a double-edged sword. Do you want Sadio Mane? But it's his stats that are worrying. The goal output is dropped more than 50% over 18 months, allegedly. I'll have to double check that.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, stats aside, watching him, I can compare it, like I said before the show, watching England and Harry Kane in that match. Mane was nowhere near as poor performance-wise. I think the first 20 minutes, even Gary Neville said him and Salah were flying and they were on point. But it's just that final thing. And yeah, he got a goal, but it's the frustration of, 10 attempts on goal. Mane a couple of seasons ago, he would have finished them all off.
Yeah.
It was
we should have won today. 7 or 8-0, and that's no over exaggeration. That's a reality.
It really isn't. Yeah.
31 shots. I think it was like 20 something on target. And those that, the shots, I mean, Harvey Elliot, his first chance was a miraculous block. That could have went in. I'm telling you now, I am very, very, very calm, very happy in the shadows of the room, which is the Premier League elite. And I'm very, very happy.
I love being underdogs.
No problem. No problem
with that at all. It's like, all right, you carry on and we'll just quietly work our way over here. And, You know, you enjoy all the limelight and pressure.
It's a very, very, very long season. And, you know, for those, you know, plastic fans out there that believe as soon as Grealish signed, they've won the league. Well, I think they may be in with a rude awakening with Chelsea, Manchester United. And obviously at the end of that pack in the dark corner in a box taped up is Liverpool. So, yeah, absolutely. That's fine.
I will have to mention as well, Mr. K's in the comments somewhere. Mr. K, I did warn you about Crystal Palace. And, you know, beating City.
We've got them next at home.
I know. Beating Man City, it's all well and good. And it does, for some teams, give you the confidence to think, oh, wow, we're, you know. But anyone can be anyone on their day. And this is the thing in the Premier League. You cannot become complacent. You can beat Man City and then lose to Crystal Palace the next week. This is the Premier League, you know.
But that's why I have respect for Ronaldo. I have respect for Ronaldo because he's gone to Manchester United. And let's be honest, they're not what they were they? Everybody knows it. They haven't won the league for 127 years. But basically, you know, but we're not allowed to mention that. And that's why I respect him, because he's gone back there and he'll improve them. The training at the club will improve. The attitude of the players, especially one in particular, hopefully will improve. Not improve so much to overtake Liverpool, but let's say this. Manchester United this season are a hell of a lot stronger. And then you look at the other one who's just gone to PSG. You know, this guy's playing Valenciennes away from home. You know, in our league, anybody can beat anybody. And I respect Cristiano Ronaldo. You cannot mess with this guy. Yes, all right, the 2 goals yesterday were massively, massively bad mistakes, but they're still goals. And you can't take it away from him. He has more goals than Sadio Mane this season, or his level. I mean, what's Mane got 2 goals?
Sometimes you got to get them dirty, digging out goals, you know. It's not
absolutely.
It's not all pretty and sunshine.
Cristiano Ronaldo is world class, and he ain't going anywhere soon. But I still think he'll go at the end of the contract. He'll go at the end of the contract to the MLS.
Yeah. I think the work rate alone will push others to raise their game. I do think that it kind of means the end of Rashford in some ways. He's going to have to work very hard to get back into this Man U team.
Where does he go? Where would you go if you were Marcus Rashford? I know where I'd be going. I'd be going over to Spain with that electric pace. You go to Italy or Spain, don't you? You know, he's a good player, Marcus Rashford, an even better person as well off the field. You know, absolutely. But you know, back to Liverpool and Mane. Yeah, we need to see some improvement for real.
There's been a lot of rumours for 2 seasons now, and they've just got a lot more ferocious about us being interested in Jude Bellingham. And now this has been going on. I don't think this is before all the hype was around him from the England games and stuff.
I've seen him. He's massive.
Yeah. It's been a constant thread with Klopp and Bellingham. I think it's at least 2.5 years now it's been happening, and it's just all of a sudden just touchlight papers hit.
Well, I think, as I say, I went down to while the players were warming up for England the other day. I walked down because I helped unveil an anti-racism flag, and when I went down to the front of the stand, the players were warming up in front. Well, first of all, Henderson was just making his way across the goal mouth, just jogging and doing his little stretches. And the first thing that struck me about him is the size of him.
Really?
He's deceptively, he's a big bloke. But also Jude Bellingham. He's massive, a big frame, and you look at him on TV and you think, yeah, he's young, he's impressionable. You know, when I saw him in the flesh, I thought this guy's a beast. Like he is a beast. He didn't put a foot wrong. He did not put a foot wrong. He was exceptional. Not our player. We don't belong to Liverpool, but he's English. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, I still support him.
Bring him
but
on.
he was good. He was excellent actually. Jude Bellingham. I'll pay. 80 million. We have to pay a premium because he's English.
Yeah.
But do we want to be spending 80 million for a central midfielder at the moment with the options that we've got? So it's really tough. But sometimes we may have to spend it. Man United is spending it, so we're gonna have to do something.
This is what I was saying. This season is does Klopp have his eye on somebody? Because it's been rumored for a long time now. And did Klopp have his eye on him, and it just wasn't the right timing or something? But that has been the rumor. And weirdly enough, Reese posted this comment before we even started talking about him. Did you guys see on Twitter by Sky Sports Premier League runners LFC reported we want Jude Bellingham, Dortmund want 80 million. Reese, me and you are just in sync. We think the same way. I have seen that, and I've been seeing this rumor for 2.5 years now. But obviously now everybody else has picked up interest. So
that'll be about 110. That'll be about £135 million outlay if we get him and Haaland at the £65 million release clause. I'll be happy with that. But, you know, this is Liverpool.
And they can have Mane.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, though, if you put Mane into the deal, you could do a swap deal for Haaland, you know. But I don't think that they would accept that because they know it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, Mr. K, to be honest, most of my groups haven't mentioned LFC for ages. Maybe other people talk about you. It's all good. It's all good. This is what we like. Thing is, this is my son. Hey, Rome. So
Hi,
this
mate.
is my son, Romeo. He had his first match today with his football team, and they won 5-1. So
Incredible.
I say a big congrats to
Well done.
my son, Romeo. This is the other thing. So last season, we were getting spoke about a lot because we were failing. And then when we went on that final run of wins, people got bored then. They had nothing to
down
say.
again.
So nobody's talking about us. That's why. So yeah, Mr. K, I think clubs are all struggling with their own problems.
Yeah, but you're not having 18-year-old golden boy wonder kids coming through having a double leg break and ankle snap.
This is it. It was horrible, wasn't it? Horrible. No, not Keita, James Milner.
Hey, we all love James Milner.
We really do, but you know, Naby Keita, this is his time to prove he was worth that money. And if he doesn't, you know, if he cannot take on that role, then he needs to go as well. We can swap him for Jude. Nicholas James, that was refuted, and I also think his agent is the one stirring the pot. So this was in
that's what we
regards to
said.
Salah. Yeah, I don't follow these stories. I think some people could sit there and hate on him and, you know, abuse him for this on Twitter or social media. Some people would do that, whereas I think he's a humble guy as well. You know, I can't see him.
It's a tricky one.
Mr. K, it took 4 years for the British press to acknowledge Kane as world class. I'm not surprised Salah is similar.
But Kane's
you know what,
a striker.
Though, Mr. K? Harry Kane can do no wrong right now, and he is a striker, yes.
You have to understand that Salah's an inside forward. He's a right winger by trade. So if, for instance, Theo Walcott was putting out the numbers, you know, back in his heyday in the same position, you know, he would have been getting a lot more. It feels like I just don't feel like he gets the respect he deserves. That's a personal opinion.
No, I don't think he does either. No way. I think because he's humble and quiet and just gets on with it. Yeah, I think it just gets brushed under the carpet. I really don't understand it. Due to be permanent feature for your team for years. I mean, this is it. He's a young star. Clapping Romeo. Why does Salah not get the respect he deserves? D Star, welcome. I haven't seen you on the stream before. Welcome to the KOP Talk. We are the KOP Talk panel, and I will big up Mo Salah every day, all day. I don't understand why he doesn't get the respect, but amongst Scousers, he is God. He is king, you know, our Egyptian king, and never take that away. I saw a post the other day saying, you know, how we look back fondly on Torres.
And Suarez for me.
Yeah. Well, I saw some people saying, has Mo overtook that? And I felt like saying,
yeah,
3 seasons ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I
think if he was to play in the same team as another bona fide world-class striker, it may be difficult because, like Kane at Tottenham, everything has to go through him. It feels a little bit sort of the same at Liverpool as well. A lot does go through Mo Salah. All the penalties are Mo Salah's as well. But Kane's he's an out-and-out striker. But I saw the quality difference at Wembley last week between him and Bamford. I saw it firsthand, and there is a big difference.
Yeah.
I said to you all, Patrick Bamford is not good enough to play for England at the moment. He wasn't good enough. And he come on today and you saw that shot that he had when he was offside and you said how wide that went. That was exactly the same as what I was watching. That is exactly the same as what I was watching. And I believe I'm vindicated in saying he's not good enough.
I'm not going to lie. The few times they did get the ball in the box, like maybe some of us were a bit like, oh, Virgil and Matip just look like, oh, whatever. Have your shot.
Wonderful.
Get on with it.
I'd play Gomez and Kanate against Milan in midweek. I'd play them.
I'm going to do another couple of comments, and then we're going to get on to some of our match talk, and then we'll wrap it up. No, that was a tragic accident. I was looking forward to him seeing play. We all were.
Yeah, absolutely, Mr. K.
D-Star. Kane hasn't won anything though. So he has, and he won the super whatever. I forget what it's called. The World Super Cup thing. Yeah.
World Club Championship. Yeah.
They're having a little debate on Kane now. Right, so let's just talk a bit about the game. So I made a few notes. Our set pieces, I'm not happy. I don't know what's going on. Free kicks, corners.
I don't think so. Yeah, they're doing the outswinger. For me, Liverpool perform better when we have an in-swinger. Someone like Van Dijk running onto that, glancing headers with Matip coming in. Fabinho's a big guy too. This outswinger ain't cutting it for me, and it hasn't been working for 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, it's just not working. It's just frustrating.
I think the Alisson goal, was that an in-swinger? You know?
I have to go. Should we look at it again? You know, any excuse.
Absolutely. I listened to it with Titanic music.
Did you see the one with the Baywatch music? That was the best one.
What?
Some people.
All good. Yeah. And up he rises.
That was beautiful. So yeah, set pieces, I'm not happy. They've not been working. I don't know what's going on there. These are important moments that we could be getting goals. You know, we have a lot of height in our box. Matip, Fabinho, Virgil, you know, there's and you said Henderson, he's a big boy as well, you know. We've got a lot of...
That really surprised me. That really surprised me how lean and big he was. He had like the steam coming out of his mouth and rising off him like a racehorse on New Year's Day. He was. That's
a great way to describe him, racehorse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm going to go on to Jota, Mane, and Salah.
Well, I thought Jota today was bang average. I think the position didn't suit him. You're right. What we were talking through the game. I just thought, you know, the ball that he sprayed across to Mane, which he put over the bar. Can't blame Sadio for that one. It was fired across at the laser pen. You know, it was straight across. All we had to do was square it. But it's a tough one, you know. But now we've got some issues. Obviously, Firmino is injured. We've got Jota that doesn't quite like that role.
We had no striker on the bench.
To try and put Mane through the middle and Jota on the left. But then again,
it would work better.
I mean, I'm not a manager for a reason. I have a highly divisive personality within the football community. But that's what I'll try.
When Ox came on, I missed the last few minutes when Ox came on. I had to go and pick up my daughter. How did that seem to look? I mean, by then it was deflated. You could see all the players were, you know, just kind of going through the motions by then. That's what I'm interested in seeing, because I prefer Jota when we've got Salah, Bobby, Mane, and then Jota behind Mane. I think that's where he's the most effective. He looks happy in that position, and he likes to come in on the side. He just does not like. Some players just don't like a position, and I really think looking at him, he just doesn't like it.
Yeah, I think, but on the other side of the coin, we've just gone to Leeds United at a full house at Elland Rd and just spanked them and really give them a good hiding.
Isn't it funny how we're still not satisfied? Even the players, they look pissed off. I love, and Klopp just shouting at them, and I loved it.
We want more. I think the club are hurting a little bit because you know, last season we know that we lost those 6 games in a row at home, and for instance, if we'd have lost 2 of them, which you know might genuinely have happened, we still wouldn't have lost 6 in a row. So you can discount 2 of them. If we had have won those 4, we're back above Man United. But I'm staggered. In fact, I'm absolutely appalled that fans don't see the potential still of this squad that we've got. I think it's astounding to me. It really is.
I know. That's why I keep saying this team won the Champions League and the Premier League, and it's improved from that as well. You know, Man City only bought Grealish, you know, and we're complaining they only bought 1 player. We bought 1 player, and it was actually a more important player for our team build centre back than buying Grealish. You know, they didn't need him.
Yeah,
they needed, as Ian will tell you, they needed a left back. That's what they needed. I think, what else we're going to talk about? Let's talk about our Matip.
Oh wow, I
He's
thought he
just
was
beautiful.
outstanding today.
That goal, so I had to write it down because my
I
memory's
thought he was going to
awful.
shoot himself at one point.
I think he is the best dribbling centre back in the fucking world. I love him. He just
Since
drives
Ferdinand.
forward. He ended up, so he passes the ball to Salah and he's on the edge of the box. And you're like, whoa, what are you doing there? Pass it to Salah. Salah passes it back to Trent. And then that's the goal. So he created that goal.
He did. I thought he was going to shoot, James. I thought he was going to shoot. I was going to wait for him to open up. I was like, oh, Yoel, free transfer. Get in there.
I really wanted him to, but the fact that he just loves to drive forward, get in those spaces, I loved that about him. And there was also another time when Virgil was like, I'm having a go as well, and he came out, didn't he?
Absolutely.
So he missed a header in the box. That was sorry, one sec. That was a bit disappointing.
Well, I'll be very, very interested to see how other teams get on at Elland Road. It's not like you're playing them at home.
Absolutely.
It was at Elland Road, and I think there's a bit of a difference there. That's a massive result today. You could have said we could have beaten Chelsea and drew at Leeds. We'd be in the same position points-wise that we are now. But actually, winning theirs actually give us a bit more of a mental lift, I think.
Yeah, 3-0 at Elland Road. Those fans as well, they were intimidating. They were loud. I think every time we tried to do a chant, they started out chanting us. But yeah, I think coming away from this, Matip is just fabulous and amazing, and I absolutely adore him. And for me, he was our man of the match. I love him. Virgil gets a lot of the credit, and I think he just gets on with his job, doesn't he?
I like Fabinho's performance today. I thought Fabinho was exceptional. I thought he was. I still believe he's the best central defensive midfielder in the league, along with Kante at Chelsea. They're the two for me.
I'd say Fabinho. I want to say in the world, because I'm thinking of who else would I want in that position in my team, and there's nobody else I would want apart from Fabinho.
Yeah, Fabinho or Kante. Yeah, Kante's attitude as well. They're the
I'd
two of them.
Fabinho, his size, his presence,
absolutely.
What he brings. Some of his interceptions today that, if it had gone past him. He
even used his teeth to clip one of them, didn't he?
Yeah. He just goes up to them and just takes it off them. He doesn't have to be rough all the time necessarily. And it's just like you're thinking, oh no, they're on. Oh no, it's gone. He can turn a high impact attack into nothing. It's just over. So yeah, we've got Mr. K saying, not Mr. K, Nicholas Hendo is 6'3". Yeah, definitely not short.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just I knew he was obviously over 6 foot, but when I saw him in the flesh, it still took me by surprise. That's all I'm saying.
Mr. K, who do you think has the best midfield this season?
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea. United haven't got a central defensive midfielder, have they? Okay, you got McTominay and Fred. Yeah, good. You did McTominay, good player.
I wouldn't have them. Let's
look at Chelsea's. I'll reel them off now. You got Saul, you have Kante, Kovacic, Jorginho. That's just off the top of my head immediately. That is without talking about Pulisic, Havertz, Ziyech in their midfield. Yeah. They're stacked, absolutely stacked. Yeah. So, where's Ross Barkley at the minute as well?
I know, right? I know. Nicholas is agreeing. Chelsea's midfield. I had them down on paper last season to win the Prem, and then Frank fucked it up basically.
Well, that's what he got for giving Jurgen Klopp a disrespectful attitude at Anfield.
Exactly. I fully think Tuchel. I don't know how you pronounce his name. I say Tuchel.
Yeah, Thomas Tuchel. Tuchel. We'll call him Mr. Tickle.
I think he's the perfect manager for that team, that group of players. I think he's the perfect one.
It'd be good for us as well, actually.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you know who I want to take over Liverpool, just as a side note, and no one ever really talks about him? Jesse Marsch at Salzburg.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just worth looking into off topic.
How old is he? Yeah.
He's in his mid-30s, early 40s.
Okay.
Good manager.
But Stevie G is going to be,
Yeah, I want him to come when he's good and ready.
Yeah, I know. He needs some more experience in the world. D-Star, Liverpool are quality, but only 2 or 3 injuries away from flopping. Isn't everybody? Everybody?
Everybody will be. Look at I think Potsy's TikTok channel. I went on there earlier. He'd put videos up with Liverpool fans obviously screaming that we hadn't signed more in the midfield. He posted up there, we actually have more midfielders at our club than the other 4 clubs around us. And he did a video saying if you take out our injuries, you know, that's 4 players. We'll still be left with more midfielders than what the other clubs would have if they had the same injury depth and issues. So
we did that show, didn't we? Remember, we did the midfielder show and we had 10 on the screen.
I think the quality of Manchester United's midfield, pound for pound, is better than us. Pound for pound. I'm not saying our first choice against their first choice. I think they're quite evenly matched, actually. Yeah. But pound for pound as a squad, they're better. And Chelsea and City.
Yeah. But you have to look at
the midfielders. We have an engine in the middle of our midfield. What they have is a different engines and different parts of their team and the mechanics of how their team work. Whereas our engine is the midfield, but actually the foundation and the basis, which we've now found out, as this team performs on goals from Mo Salah, but more importantly, is a solid, sound, and stable defense.
And most importantly, they are being managed by a novice that has no backbone and will be not as effective as any other manager.
Oh, they're going to win the league, aren't they, Man United? Aren't they? I think they won it when he signed, didn't he? They won the league.
I mean, now Ronaldo's in there, he will gain some order and he will help, you know, control like the madness in there. But ultimately, Ollie is still your manager, you know, you're still going to be conceding goals. They've yet to have a clean sheet with the great Harry, you know. But going back to this, you know, only 2 or 3 injuries away from flopping. Let's take a look at Man U. You know, say Harry got injured, Pogba and Greenwood or Ronaldo. Let's take 3 players out of everybody's team. They're going to struggle. Man City, you know, take 3 players even out of that team.
Well, they had 3 or 4 players out of their team on the opening game of the season. They lost to Tottenham, you know, one of the smallest clubs and institutions in the Premier League.
And Leicester in the cup thing.
Yeah.
Right. So let's wrap this up. We need to be happy. We won 3-0 at Leeds. It could have been 8-0. We could have been goal difference crazy right now. But like Klopp said after match, I'm not going to come out and be disrespectful. I'm not going to come out and be greedy and say, oh, it should have been this and this and this. 3 points, 3 goals. That is enough. Clean sheet. How many clean sheets have we had now? This is the 3rd, isn't it? That's
correct. 3 out of 4 games have been clean sheets. One of them's been one of the greatest headers I've ever seen. Yeah.
Yes. And it was a set piece, you know.
Absolutely. So, I just can't wait to play some of the big guns now. I'm looking forward to these games now, not with concern,
Crystal more with
Palace. Anticipation. I think that's a win for Liverpool at home to Crystal Palace. And I think I also feel the big one is Man City at home. Let's not forget that we were the Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer of the football world less than 2 years ago. And all of a sudden, overnight, Liverpool has lost we've lost everything. We've got no swagger. We're not good anymore. Our squad's paper thin. We're nowhere in the conversation. So that's
fine. I love it. And I just sit back and watch. Yeah, I just sit back and watch them all getting excited and hyped up because it was only a couple of weeks ago that they were crying because they drew to Southampton. You know,
well,
winning the league. Oh my God, we're shit. Oh my God, we've signed Ronaldo. I'm just waiting for, some of these teams to have
all the Ronaldo signing is a smokescreen to deter Man United fans away from the fact that they're blissfully unhappy with their owners. As far as the Glazers are concerned, they've signed someone where's the deflection gone? So Jadon Sancho, £76 million, that price tag is now null and void, isn't it? Because Ronaldo's back. So it's very shrewd ownership by those Glazers. It's actually very, very clever because no one's talking about get them out anymore, are they?
Just sticking me plug in a minute. Not very professional, I know.
I am. Yeah, I will admit that the Liverpool squad is thin, no doubt. I'm not disputing that fact because we haven't put as much resource into the playing squad of Manchester United and Chelsea. But what I will say is our first 11, I would expect to beat anybody in the league.
Yeah, evening talk, MU. Nice for you to join us. So we have just had this conversation about the squad being thin. We actually started this season with 10 midfielders. We've bulked out our centre-back situation. We have 4 centre-backs that could start a game.
Tomorrow.
We have 2. Kelleher, I have full confidence in.
Yep.
We've got 3 goalkeepers. One of them the backup.
Well, we got
side,
four. We got 4 goalkeepers. The other ones are backup to the
Yeah.
backup to the backup, and is more interested in securing his next Brooklyn deal.
I think the only area you could argue where it's a bit iffy is, the striker, but we don't necessarily play that way anyway. But up front today, Thiago was fantastic today. I think people have underestimated.
Oh, no, he's over the hill. He's past it, isn't he? Remember, and we also remember that Manchester United were deeply interested in Thiago, but it's because he plays for Liverpool and he's pulled his socks down. And he looks like he's put 4 years onto his age. He's now over the hill and he's past it. I'm loving this. I think
some
it's
of them
excellent,
little flicks. Some of them little flicks and turns and on the line, tricking people. I thought it was amazing today. I loved it. I fully enjoyed
I think we played really well. If Harvey Elliot had come through the game and we won 3 or 4-0, I'd be sat here on top of the world tonight. But the injuries happened and it's very difficult.
It is hard to be happy. It is really hard. I still feel you'll be in and around the business end of the season. We play well as a team as well. I think people underestimate our chemistry, our drive, our tactics. We have a style of play that everybody knows where they're meant to be, what they're meant to be doing, and how it's done. And yes, Fabinho is a beast, Talk MU. Mr. K, I think many forget that you don't always need to sign many new players every season when you have a well-established youth academy.
Yeah, that's why you spend £76 million on a player.
Yeah, beast, Stephen. Fab is our workhorse in that middle. He just kills an attack.
I think one of the 4 will drop out, and it'll probably be a surprise. I think Man United are in this for the long haul. They're obviously in the Champions League again now. I think it'll be interesting to see how Ole masters his squad and squad rotation for those games, because actually I don't think he's been tactically astute. Yes, he led them to Europa League final. Well, God, I could have led them to Europa League final. The reality is this. I think one of the big 4, I don't think it is a big 6. I think Arsenal and Tottenham are irrelevant. I think it's you've got Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, City. They're the 4 teams going for this league. And I think one of them will drop out and it'll be a bit of a surprise. But I'm quite happy in the shadows being, I don't know, the Atletico Madrid of the Premier League. Write us off at your peril.
Same. I definitely agree, though. It is just a 4. I think it always kind of has been for a while now anyway. They talk about the top 6, but it's just because of, stature and fan bases. And they talk about Leicester worming their way in, but...
Well, I'll still never know how Tottenham were invited to the Super League, but that's a conversation for another day. What have they got? Seriously.
How did they, it's because they got a nice stadium, I guess. People wanted to visit it. It was going to be a place of worship. Mr. K, we're not top 4 material this season.
Who's Mr. K? What team does he support?
Spurs,
Tottenham. Right, okay. You may think, Mr. K, that I come across as massively anti-Tottenham. I'm not massively anti-Tottenham, but the other side of TTM Sports, James, is a Tottenham fan. And I'm sick and tired of hearing Tottenham fans that genuinely believe that they're a bigger institution than Liverpool. And my job is to put them back in the place.
Absolutely. I think...
Like Kane, he didn't want to stay. Watch the interview on the overlap with Gary Neville. Watch it. Drink it in and believe it. Your chairman has saved your club because he wanted to go. He said that he also alludes to the fact in the interview he feels like he's got a second career coming on.
Yeah. I can see Kane, he's not happy. I can see him just not hitting the numbers this season now.
Kane is world-class, best English striker that we've got. I rate him. I do rate him, but I'm not accepting this thing from some parts of Tottenham fans believing that he never actually wanted to go and he wanted to stay for the love of the club.
Oh,
Come
gosh.
on, get real. He did not want to. He did not want to stay there. He didn't want to. He didn't want to stay there because the last time you won the league, it was black and white TV. Where's their level of abuse that we received on our 30-year gold drought? I'll tell you why they don't get it. Because they're not a bona fide super club.
I do see it in our banter groups. I do regularly. It's just you have to go. It's the media, isn't it? But I think it's because we are, the most successful club in English history. We are.
Yeah, and Mr. K's got it right. I think
it's Liverpool, Man U, and Arsenal.
Yeah, Mr. K is genuinely balanced in what he's saying tonight, and I respect it. That's a proper Tottenham fan. I don't want to beat down on him or anything like that. I would be the very first person to say if Liverpool under the Kenny Dalglish, Roy Hodgson era, I'd say we were dog shit.
Oh, God.
But I could admit that. But there's still certain
That's
factors
why we
of each
deserve
club
this happiness now, because we went
and just
through
enjoy
that.
it. Just enjoy it while it's here.
I just love
enjoy it while it's
football.
here. The amount of money we've now forced these other clubs to spend. You know, never forget it. It's happened.
This is what I'm saying. People were upset about the lack of transfers. And I was saying all these teams are buying players because they are playing catch up to us, because we were finishing miles of points ahead of everybody else. They've still got to catch up to this squad now.
Absolutely.
On that note, we will be back. Champions League, AC Milan. It's hard to get excited, but you know,
keep your eye on a player called Kessie in the middle of midfield. Ran the show at Old Trafford last season. Man United fans watching this stream will know that Kessie of AC Milan's a big beast. I did hear a transfer rumor the other day that they were interested in Thiago. We wanted Kessie. He's I would say a tenacious Jorginho Wijnaldum, less finesse, more bite. Just look him up on YouTube. Good player. Watch out for him. Look, Champions League nights at Anfield are notoriously wonderful occasions. And you know, but Kessie's a big player. Just enjoy it.
We have to just enjoy it and just soak it up and get these players out there. I think they're going to just enjoy that that mad vibe that's going to come off. I don't think any of them have experienced this before.
Could number 7 be on the way, or are we going to equal Manchester United's record? And it is, and fair play to them. It's a record of the most top-flight division titles in English football. They hold the record for that. However, we have the most, major competition wins in the country. I do have a quick one just on TTM Sports. I always say thank you very much to FTB Sports, especially yourself, Gems, for inviting me to be a panelist on your great show.
Yeah.
I do have a podcast coming out as well.
What you're all about, James, and where people can find you, because you're fantastic.
Well, TTM Sports is myself and James. We're the two Jameses. I'm a Liverpool fan. He's a Tottenham fan. We do a weekly podcast which comes out. We interview ex-England international footballers, international managers from around the world, FIFA referees. We have ex-Premier League referees. We've got Peter Drury interview, one of the world's most famous commentators. We also do a lot in the boxing world, so ex-British champions and big interviews with people deep in the boxing community. Furthermore, we have a radio show.
That, didn't you?
Yeah. We have a radio show as well called The State of Play on 96.6 Froome FM. But we do have a podcast coming out tonight, and it is the Premier League's most underrated 11. So you want to have a look out for that one, because that's a good team that we put together. I saw your post on that
on Twitter as well, and I was having a good look at that, and it is an interesting. It's a really interesting.
It's a really good one.
Yeah.
But if you want to find out where you can find us, we've concentrated our attentions through Twitter. So just type in TTM Sports. And we're on there. Follow us. As soon as we get to 1,000 followers, we're going to be giving away a mystery football shirt, and we are 105 followers away. So, guys, get following like we do to FTB.
I do have your details are always in every KOP TALK show. If you look in the description, TTM Sports details are always in the description. So just check them out.
Message us. Just simply message us on Twitter or www.thinktwicemedias.com, and that's how you can get in touch with us.
Yeah. Even if you go on FTB Sports Twitter, we share your stuff on there as well. Mr. K saying, great stream. Mr. K saying, James, I've seen you before of your other colleague. I did ask how to get in touch.
Yeah, cool.
TTM Sports, Mr. K, or you can just ask me and I'll put in a good word for you.
All good. Yeah, we have guests. Jem's been on the radio show as well, which was wonderful. I'm trying to tie down a Mondi long term onto the radio show as well. I think that would be a wonderful interview. And the last one we did was with a famous football writer that works for the Times, World Soccer Magazine, and these Football Times, and we interviewed him as well because he's given me tips, because I'm trying to become a writer myself. But enough on that for the moment.
Do you know what? I must say, I'm really proud of the energy and the drive that you put into everything, James, and I really support you in everything.
Yeah.
Always.
Thank you very much indeed.
Great. Right. We're out, and we will be back. AC Milan at Anfield.
Bring it.
Champions League.